All right, real poker talk here. Have you guys ever asked yourself, when is it time that I quit playing poker? When is it time I quit playing professionally? When is it time I quit trying to make it professionally? When is it time I stop playing because I lose all my damn money when I go to the casino or when I play online? When is it time I stop working in the poker industry because I just don't have that love or feel like I'm contributing to the world or feel like I'm making a difference somehow to myself and to the world out there? I think a lot of people I've been talking to lately that are longtime poker players that work in the industry, a lot of people I've been talking to have been bringing this up to me and saying, man, I just want to get out of here. I just want to quit. It's not because they can't win at poker anymore, or it's not because they're not good at poker anymore. I think what it is a lot of people have been in poker for such a long time at this point in time. And also the landscape has changed so much in that it was very profitable, or at least it seemed profitable years ago in playing online, playing live poker, with sponsorships, with opportunities. And at this point in time, how things have evolved in 2018, those same opportunities and that same ceiling of what you could potentially make as a poker player just isn't there for a large amount of people. The top 1% is still going to be able to hit that point. But for most people out there, there's just no way you're going to do it. And if you live in America, it's going to be really hard to actually make that happen. I think it's something I've been asking myself this year is saying, okay, how much more poker content do I want to do? How much more poker do I want to play? Where is there to go for myself? What's the ceiling like in terms of where I can go with my content, where I can go as a professional poker player? I think a large draw for poker for myself was that I wasn't playing on a phone, on an app site. I never really played poker to just make money from poker. I played poker because I felt like it was a big community experience. When I started playing, it was all over the place. It was fun. You got to watch it on TV all the time. All these people that you knew were gambling it up, having a great time. Personalities were wide. Your friends were excited about poker. It was this community thing where you guys all grew together. You guys talked strategy a lot, supported each other. You went on the forums. You got to read about hand histories. You got to watch this. You got to watch that. And I think that was a big motivator for me. It was saying, okay, I want to become one of these people in the poker world. I want to make it at poker, have success, have people look at me and say, okay, like I want to be like that. I want to get to that point. And back in the day in 2007, 2006, 2008, that was a very realistic thing. You didn't need to have a bunch of different programs. You didn't need to shop around different poker sites. You basically made an account on one of the major sites and you just started playing at the bottom, tried to work your way up to the top. Very black and white. Whereas now what's happening is that now you can't necessarily do that anymore. You got to play on these sites where there's a lack of security, or you don't know if you're going to get paid. You have to deposit through an agent. You're playing on your phone. You're sitting there like this. You're playing one table for hours, and you don't know who you're playing against. And I feel like that community aspect has really been taken out of poker. And a lot of people I know, they're like, I don't even want to talk poker anymore with my friends, or it's gotten to the point where they don't talk poker at all. There's no strategy discussion. There's no world of poker discussion. There's no look at these people. They look like they're having so much fun discussion. A lot of what's poker turned into is a lot of more quieter, introverted personalities. And the people that have been promoted in poker, which isn't very many people, and a lot of times you have to seek out being promoted yourself. A lot of those people just aren't as exciting, I think, to a lot of poker players out there who have been longtime professionals. So that I think that is contributing to the decline in wanting to stay in poker and wanting to be involved in poker. Back in the day, you had Daniel Negreanu and you had these Phil Ivies. You're like, these mythical figures are just entertaining. They were awesome. You looked at them a certain type of way. And really nowadays, a lot of these things don't exist. Those guys are still around, but they've been around for a very long time. And that sort of excitement and that pizzazz and that feeling that you once had just isn't there. And I do believe that having figures like that in a community inspire other people and motivate other people to want to keep playing, to want to keep making it, to want to keep getting better. And I feel like that just doesn't really exist in poker anymore. Then you take into account the idea of feeling like you're just tired of it. You've been grinding for a long time. Maybe you played 5-10 before, or you played a bunch of tables online before, or you were making a certain amount of money years ago, and now you got to go play live poker a bunch. or you're playing on one of the app, you're playing on a PP poker application site, playing on a Chinese app site, you're VPNing, you're playing on ACR, you're playing on Ignition, whatever it is you're doing, you're just like, what, like, this is just over this. This isn't very fun to do. You want to go share what's happening in your poker world? Well, there's nowhere to share it. The poker forums aren't alive anymore. Unless you have a group of friends or you're in a clique or whatever, you don't really have that sort of that community bonding there. So you just kind of keep playing, and then you say, well, like, what am I going to do? Like, enough's enough. I'm ready to call it a day. I'm ready to quit. I'm ready to get out of here. But then where do you go? What do you go do? Where do you go from here? And I think that's a big thing when I talk to people about is they're just really not sure where to go, because poker can not only give you a certain lifestyle, but also can make you an amount of money that you can't just start something new and then just make that amount of money oftentimes. It doesn't work that way. I think I accidentally sort of came into it when I started doing podcasting content years ago. I figured I'd start this podcast. I was still doing very well at poker at that time. And I said, okay, I don't know where this is going to go, but this is going to take me somewhere if I keep at it. It'll open some doors. It'll open some opportunity. It'll turn into something. I don't know what it is. I don't know how I'm going to make money from it. I don't exactly know what that looks like, but it'll teach me things and allow me to leverage my skills that I built up at poker into something else. But that took years, kind of thing. I mean, when I started off, I had some views, but I wasn't making any money from it. I didn't really seek out making money from it. But I think that's what a lot of people I've talked to and a lot of poker players out there, they just say, well, what the fuck am I going to do, man? I'm good at poker. I'm not good at anything else. I think that's a big misconception, is that if you're great at poker, you have a lot of qualities. Even if you're good at poker, if you can win at poker sometimes, you have to build up a lot of qualities in terms of problem solving, in terms of overcoming failure, in terms of consistency, in terms of pattern recognition, in terms of learning, in terms of critical thinking, in terms of a lot of different areas. The book that I wrote, Chasing the Poker Dream, The Qualities of a Successful Poker Player, that I wrote for a prop bet, that laid them a lot of those things out. To get good at poker, you need a lot of different qualities. Discipline, patience, bankroll management, so many different things down the line. Sacrifice, obsession, dedicated focus. And a lot of those qualities, and most of those qualities, translate over to doing something else. But when you've been playing poker for so long, and your circle of friends is limited to poker players who only play poker, and you don't really reach outside of that space or that zone to find more people to bring inspiration to you and to give energy to you and to give some sort of excitement to you, well, what are you going to do? And I think that's a big thing I've noticed with poker players, and really people in general, is that the circle of people they keep around them, their friends, their family, their acquaintances, their whoever, are not giving them that feeling. They've had these people for a while in their life. Everyone goes through ups and downs. They don't really have any new people in their life to sort of give them that emotion, that jolt, that excitement. And I've noticed for myself this year, I haven't really had that around myself either. I have a lot of friends, know a lot of people that I've met through doing what I do, and I just haven't been utilizing those assets. I haven't been having those conversations with them. I haven't been feeding off that energy that having conversations with other people give me, to keep myself very isolated. So it's not a surprise that as the years went on, or as this year went on, I looked around, I said, man, I'm just not having very much fun in the poker world anymore. Like, nothing's happening, no one's excited, no one's this. But turns out that's not true. It's just the people I was talking to, the conversations I was having, that's the vibe I was getting back when I would actually have any conversation, which wasn't often. I was in a relationship, kind of off and on with her. Just that was my main source of communication for whatever reason. And I think that's what a lot of poker players fall into. And then you kind of say, okay, well, if I'm thinking about quitting, or if I want to move on, well, what do I do? Where do I start? And unfortunately, that's not a very easy answer to have. For me, I've always been interested in entrepreneurship. I've always been interested in starting a business, in some kind of business, starting from the ground floor, kind of working my way up. That's what I've always enjoyed. But that doesn't make a lot of money. And a lot of poker players, they have this consistent money-making thing that they do, and they say, well, I mean, I make, pick amount of money, $50,000, $100,000, $75,000, $200,000, $300,000. The more you make, I imagine the harder it's going to be for you to say, I'm going to give this up completely. And the problem with poker is that once you keep playing it, and when you keep winning at it, when you keep doing well at it, it's hard to be like, man, do I really want to risk just losing my poker ability, my poker knowledge, playing once in a while to start building up something else? Even though I think it'll make me happier, and I think I contribute to society this way? And that's a hard question to ask yourself, and that's a hard mental hurdle to get yourself over. Look at somebody like my friend Doug Polk right now. Doug Polk, really doesn't want to make much poker content anymore. And by much, I mean none. Doesn't want to play anymore. Doesn't want to make poker content anymore. But even he's struggling. And if a guy like my guy Doug Polk's going to struggle with this, well, I can only imagine what some people out there are going through. And they're not talking about it with anybody. They're not having a discussion about it with anybody. There's nowhere to go to get some perspective on this particular subject because no one talks about it because, who would talk about it? I wish people out there were talking more about this, but it's just not taking place. So I think if I was somebody out there who was saying, okay, I want to quit, what do I do? I think entrepreneurship is one of the easiest things to go into. You already are your own boss at poker. You've got a lot of experience making decisions for yourself as a poker player, figuring out this works, this doesn't, this system works, this type of planning works, this type of study works. And in terms of what it is, the world is your fucking oyster, man. You can do anything out there right now. There's opportunity in all different areas with the internet. If you can market, if you can get a product out there, if you can get yourself out there, the world is your oyster. Because what I've really realized is that a lot of people out there are soft as fuck, man. When it comes to really wanting it, when it comes to consistency, when it comes to dedication, when it comes to overcoming adversity, they are soft. They give up. They turn to being a consumer instead of a creator. It's easier just to take it all in rather than make it happen for yourself. And I've certainly fallen into that category as well sometimes too. Very often this year, I found myself falling into that category as well. So I think once you really realize that, and you realize I have talent, I have that self-confidence, I have the ability to make it in this very hard game, which is poker, well, fuck, I can make it anything with a couple of these qualities. Just a matter of finding something that kind of excites you. And the only way you find something that excites you and motivates you and gets you going is by trying something else. So some just random ideas I have off the top of my head are affiliate marketing. Listen, I'm late to the affiliate marketing thing, but you could be affiliate for anything. You create a product. You create a service. You don't have to be the face of it. Be behind the scenes. You could reach out to people and say, hey, is there something that you might want to do? Business you want to start? A product you want to sell? Create some content. Try to build up an audience for something. Obviously, I know that best. There's a lot of power in having an audience of people who will support you, give you ideas, get you going, buy your service, buy your merchandise, buy whatever it is. You can do a lot of reselling as well too. A lot of people out there resell things on Amazon, on eBay, buy things from China, buy things from thrift stores, buy things from garage sales. Doesn't sound fun, that fancy. There's no glory in that, going to the garage sale. Like Gary Vaynerchuk always talks about in his videos, going to the garage sale, something I used to do when I was a kid. I'd go to the garage sale, buy things, put it on eBay. I was hustling back then in the day. When I was 14 years old, I was doing that kind of stuff. I worked with a guy. He was my boss at the time. We go to all the time, go around garage sales. We go around these lockers, go around these abandoned houses, buy things in there, sell it on eBay. Grab nice subscriptions. Boom, they sent through on PayPal, went to the post office, shipped it out there. These are just a few things. I think for myself, what I'm really thinking about now is how can I take my knowledge and keep learning how to market well, how to create content, how to build a brand, how to build a business, how to monetize all these things, and then how can I take this value and then be a consultant in some type of way, help out other people, help out personal brands, help out companies, whether it's in poker or outside of poker. How can I help take my knowledge of content and marketing and help give that to poker players and help them get a bigger platform? Help promote them, help promote the game, promote the hands that happen in poker. So that's personally where I'm sort of coming from with it. But there's a million different directions out there. And I think it starts with kind of just doing some research, talking with people about this, expanding your circle a little bit. It's not an easy thing. And this is why we see so many poker players stick around in poker or struggle to make it outside of poker or bounce back and forth undecided in that little gray area. So I was trying to keep this short, but hopefully I provided a little bit of value for you guys out there in terms of how to think about this situation, about when you should quit, why you should quit, what you can do. If you guys have any questions, leave it in the comments. Try to respond to some of them. If you're my friend or I know you, we're acquaintances, you want to talk about this more, I'm always here. Reach out, Twitter, Instagram. Hit me up. You got my number. Text me. More than happy to have a discussion about this with anybody out there. So that's it. Real Poker Talk. Much love, guys. Be back soon.